Will Clemson, let me rephrase that, will Dabo Swinney hire Lorenzo Ward, former South Carolina defensive coordinator who's now a special assistant to Coach Swinney? Will he hire him as Clemson's next defensive coordinator? It's a good question. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Welcome to the channel. Happy Monday morning to you. We only have one more day left in 2024. If you're watching this in the future, today is the 30th of December. And this year's come and gone as they do. And I've heard that as you get older, you know, time flies by a little quicker. I'm 42, and I can tell you it's happening. I feel like yesterday I was like 24, and now I'm the inverse of that number. If you like talking college football and knows the college football season's over for a lot of teams, as well as those teams that are forging forward. Do you like how I use that word, forging? Yeah, it's kind of corny. In the college football playoff as well as bowl games. If you like talking college football, you like talking Clemson football, I hope you will subscribe. If you like supporting independent media, hope you will consider it. Remember, subscribing is free. So yesterday, I created a video and I talked about who's Dabo hiring as the next defensive coordinator. And I talked about Zach Alley. But I also said in that video that I guarantee you that as soon as good grief, as soon as I post this video, it's going to be solidified that West Virginia hires this guy, that he'll join Rich Rodriguez in his round 2, part 2, coaching gig up at West Virginia. And folks, I'm telling you, it almost happened just like I said. If I could get better at predicting the lottery, I'd be a billionaire, y'all. I would be a billionaire. In fact, maybe I need to work on that. So Zach Alley is officially off the table for Clemson. And the reason, and I knew it was that the deal was kind of close to being nailed down, but folks, until the ink is dried on the contract, remember college football, as much as you want to get misty-eyed about the traditions and the good old days and everything, if it's not clear to you now that college football is a multi-billion dollar, $100 billion plus business, then I don't know how I can ever convey that to you. So until the contract is completed, Zach Alley was still on the table. And so now Dabo Swinney has to move on to someone else. Now, Lorenzo Ward, if that name sounds familiar to some of you, it's because he was coaching with Steve Spurrier at South Carolina during that run that Spurrier had with the Chickens. And he was coaching guys like, Stephon Gilmore. He was coaching guys like Jadeveon Clowney. That was a good defense. I mean, I hate to say it. Anytime I have to give a compliment and be unbiased towards the Chickens, I have to throw up a little. But he joined the staff with Clemson last season. In the spring, he's a special assistant to the head coach and defense and an assistant linebackers coach. He's coached at multiple places, most notably South Carolina. That's the one where you step back and you go, "Oh yeah, I remember that." Us Clemson fans have a sour taste in our mouth. He's coached in the NFL. He's did a lot of different things. So, will Lorenzo Ward be the next guy up? Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know as much about Lorenzo Ward as I would like to think that I do. You're like, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is I know what he did with South Carolina, 10 years ago. How would he approach the game today? Now, if we want to talk about experience, and remember my hiring criteria for a coach, especially in this very vulnerable place that Clemson's at right now, where Dabo's replacing the inexperienced coaches, the criteria is to ask yourself, Do they have really good experience? And next, are they an expert in their field? I just described Matt Luke to you. And you saw what Matt Luke did. And the difference between Clemson and other universities is that Clemson can actually go out and land the best coaches in the country. Matt Luke is proof of that. A guy who was in semi-retirement. I talk about that a lot. Why? Because, yes, every school in the country that is serious about college football wants the best staff. But they can't get them. Clemson can. That's the difference. Now, I'd like to do a little more digging into Lorenzo Ward past the South Carolina gig. And I'm reading over where he coached in the past. I know that he was at Alabama. He's a graduate of Alabama. He was a GA at Alabama while Sweeney was on the football team. He's been at Chattanooga. He's been at Virginia Tech. He spent time with the Raiders. He's been with Arkansas. He was South Carolina's DC from 9 to 15. And then after that, things kind of got different. This is my hesitation with Lorenzo Ward. He served as Fresno State's defensive coordinator in 16 before going to Louisville in 17 as a secondary coach. And then he became the interim when Bobby Petrino was let go. Now, I'm reading this. If you're like, I don't know if this is true, I'm reading this directly off the Clemson Tigers site. So if there's a typo or if there's something that is not there and somebody's getting all tongue-tied and angry at me and whatever, you need to call up Clemson and let them know because that's on the bio. But my point here is everything was looking really, really good for Lorenzo Ward. And then after that, and look, family situations may be going on. He may have wanted to take some time, might have wanted to take some time away from the game and chill out. I don't blame him, especially if he had made a lot of money and he had properly invested it and managed it. I said this yesterday. Dabo Sweeney could retire right now and have more money than, it's just ridiculous. I wouldn't blame him if he retired right now. He made a lot of money. And he can continue to make a lot of money. But I don't blame these guys when they say, you know what, the college game has changed. I want to step away, or maybe I need some time. I don't blame them. But that's my only hesitation with Lorenzo Ward at this time, because up to a certain point, that experience majorly checks the boxes. But it's the recent experience. And the college game has changed a lot. It has changed a lot. When Matt Luke stepped away from the game, he was only away from the game for what, one season? And then he comes back. They were already dealing with the transfer portal issues during his time at Georgia. So it's not like he had a 5-year hiatus, a 10-year hiatus, and he comes into this mess that is college football. By the way, have you seen what's going on at Tennessee right now? And it's at a lot of places. I'm friendly towards Tennessee, have family that went there. I know some people who are currently going there, people who are big-time fans. They travel everywhere. Guy I go to church with, I was with him, saw him yesterday. He was in Columbus for the butt whipping from the Buckeyes. So I have a lot of ties to Tennessee. I love that area. I'd move up there and like that. I really love that area. I pull for my Tigers, and if Clemson plays Tennessee, I'm definitely pulling for my Tigers. But my point is, you see what's happening at Tennessee right now? After making it to the playoffs, winning 10 games, being ahead of schedule according to a lot of people, the thing is slowly falling apart. That's the new landscape of college football. One of my only hesitations is seeing that gap with Lorenzo Ward after South Carolina. And then how will he adapt to the new game? That's one thing that I'm looking at, or a couple of things that I'm looking at, and it makes me hesitate. not excluding him in a rude way, but I know this video is about Lorenzo Ward, but the question is, and folks, everybody who's watching me, everyone who's watching me, there's a lot of you watching me right now. Thank you so much. I just want to stop there and tell everyone thank you for watching my channel. I'm just a guy talking about his favorite football team. Grew up in that community, love it, and I'm independent. So if you want to support independent, I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. If you like what I'm doing, or you just like arguing with me. And I have a lot of those, by the way, who loves arguing with me, and I think it's fun. As long as we keep it civil, it's fun. Sport's supposed to be fun. But with that said, my criteria, and I'm going to say this a lot because people, especially when you start talking about emotional subjects, all logic goes out the window. It's like taking too much medicine. You just can't think straight, according to what it is. And this is it when it comes to college football. But folks, I'm going to remind you over and over, what is the criteria for hiring a coach, especially at this place in time for Clemson football? Do they have really, really good experience? What does that mean? They're tenured. They've been around some big programs, and they have experienced great success there. And you can directly attribute it to them. And next, are they considered a true, currently relevant expert in their field? That's proven. Example, Matt Luke. Next, again, every college that's serious or university that's serious about college football wants the best staff they can possibly get. But the difference between them and Clemson is that Clemson can actually get them. And Dabo is learning. He tried to give a lot of guys at the same time, over a short amount of time, the chance to go out and do something special. And a lot of them hadn't coached before, or some of them had coached, but not at this level. And we see what's happened. They need more time in the coaching oven, as I like to say. But Dabo is learning. He's having to fire someone every year now. And you talk about culture, that's not good for culture. Think about it at your work. Wherever you work, whoever you work for, maybe you own your business. It makes things uneasy when you look across and you go, well, it's about that time of year for someone to get fired. That's not a great culture. So the criteria for hiring the next coach is what I just laid out, and use Matt Luke as an example. Clemson can get the best coaches across the board at every position, right down to the water boy, if they want them. And let me tell you this, even in the changing terrain of college football, with NIL and transfer portal and who's using it and who's paying high school students, I mean, right out of high school, millions upon millions of dollars to come play for them in a game they've never played before at this level. One thing still stands true: coaching reigns. That's the reason why you're still seeing teams like Boise State, no matter what happens in this second round of the college football playoff against Penn State. That's the reason why this team is in the college football playoff with a bye. You want to know why? You want to know why they took Oregon down to the wire earlier on in the season? Lost only by 3 points to the number one team in America. You want to know why? Is because you can develop players. I know that that's like speaking some type of foreign language to you, and it's like, and by the way, I'm not making fun of any specific nationality there. I'm just making up my own language. I'm just saying that it still rings true. Coaching matters. And if it doesn't, tell Tuscaloosa, Alabama, it doesn't matter. And if it doesn't matter, why are they paid so flippin' much? Because we all know in the back of our mind, no matter what, all of this, I mean, this transfer portal thing, there's good sides of it. There's players who should be able to leave, this, that, and the other, and they were lied to. Coaches lie too. I mean, I don't know what to say. There's good parts of it, but there's really bad parts of it, and we all know it. This is not the video for that. But the transfer portal is like a bad fart. It's just hanging around and hanging around and hanging around and hanging around. But there's one thing, again, that stands true. Coaching matters. Take it to the bank. And that's the criteria that needs to be used. What I laid out just a second ago. Really good experience, and are they a relevant expert in their field? in this new terrain and use Matt Luke as that template, Clemson football will be truly elite in no time. Truly elite. Folks, y'all take care of yourself. It's good to see all of you. I hope you have a great Monday. I'll have more videos coming out this week where I will talk about the next round of the college football playoff. We have 8 teams in there. We have some that looks pretty cut and dry of who's going to win, and then others are sitting there going, I don't know about that one. So anyway, be looking for those. I'll continue, even though the season's over for Clemson, there's a lot going on. I'll still be talking about that. Pass along my videos to your friends and your neighbors, even if they like talking Clemson football or whether they like talking, I don't know. I probably won't talk about Idaho, but other teams. I appreciate y'all. I hope you have a good day. If you haven't subscribed, remember it's free. If you like what I'm doing, I really do appreciate it. As always, go Tigers.